massive day with the NSX build, and that is because the car is now off the lift. It's about to go back on the lift the opposite way, because today we are moving on to assembling the front end of this build. So this is my 1991 Honda NSX. I started this build 1 year ago, and the whole focus has been on the back of the car. From the front, it looks like a normal NSX, but if we take a look at the rear, we got a twin turbo kit, a fully built K-series engine, and a fully built transmission. It turned out pretty neat, if you ask me. We're getting pretty close to the first start on this car, but I really want to get it into a rolling form. Now yesterday, I went through and refurbished all of the arms, the knuckles, sway bar, everything you see here on this table. We refinished yesterday, and now today, all of this is getting installed. The way the front suspension is designed on the NSX is pretty interesting. As far as I'm aware, there's no other car that has front suspension design like this. There's quite a few pieces, extra pieces and components that tie everything together that makes this car handle like a dream. Some of this we will go ahead and assemble on the table, and then we can start bolting it to the chassis. This whole setup right here is pretty interesting. This is nearly ready to be bolted on, and it bolts up through the rail like that and bolts to the frame. Before these go on, we need to go ahead and insert all of the steel collars, which go through there. You guys already know, easiest method for stuff like this, drop them in a cup of ice, heat the aluminum, and they'll slide right in. I don't even know what to call these parts, but that guy is on, and that guy is on. Let's call it the control arm mounts. Now before we get the control arms on, they need the same sleeves. Virtually everywhere that a bolt goes through, we have to insert that steel sleeve. All of the control arms and the knuckles are in place. Everything is torqued down. So nice. Finally moving on to the front end. I'm super excited to have this thing rolling once again. It's going to help so much with transporting it around. Let's go ahead and move on to the steering. Here we have our freshly repaired and rebuilt rack from NSX Rack Repair. And then we have this little guy, which is the rack mount. Unfortunately, I need to backtrack a little bit in order to get the rack in. So this cross brace, along with whatever you'd call these, and the steering rack need to be bolted together before that whole assembly goes up into the car. So we need to loosen both upper and lower control arms, pull these guys off, that guy off, assemble everything outside of the car, and then it goes in as one unit. The rack with the cross member and the mounts are all fully assembled, ready to go in the car. Now this right here is going to be the true test. If you guys remember back a few months ago, we had to replace this frame rail. If we didn't get it in the right spot, this thing will not line up. So let's hope it does. The assembly is in, and I'm proud to announce that it lined up perfectly. A few more pieces that we can get on, and then I want to go ahead and get some suspension on the car. So let's move on to the sway bar, the dust shield, the hub. I do eventually want to go through and build a little block off plate. As you know, we are deleting ABS on this build. From what I can find, nobody makes a nice block off plate, so I might have to fab something up myself. front sway bar is installed. Everything is torqued down to spec. This thing is ready for our very, very beautiful set of flat out coilovers. So what we're looking at is a custom one-off set of flat-out suspension CSRs. And as you can see, we went with external reservoirs, front and rear. These things are absolutely beautiful. Now I am very curious where we are gonna mount the external reservoirs. They do offer mounts that mount the reservoir back to the shock. I think it'd be cool to externally mount them somewhere else on the build. Let's go ahead and get the fronts on first, figure out what we're doing for the reservoirs, and then we can go ahead and get the rears installed. I know the color doesn't matter on most builds, but on this it does. The blue with the gold zinc with the white paint looks so fantastic. I'm about to do some nice anodized blue Brembos or Stop Techs or something cool to match the coils. That one is installed. Let's go ahead and knock out the passenger side, and then we need to figure out what we're doing with the reservoirs. I think they're gonna sit somewhere up in the frunk area. Being that it's so disassembled, I don't know where exactly they can sit. We may have to wait for later to get those installed, but for now, let's just go ahead and get the other coilover on. Rear coilovers are on. I think it would be super cool to mount the reservoirs for the rears somewhere up in here. One on that side, one on that side. Make them symmetrical. The only problem with that, we would either have to somehow disconnect the reservoir and pass the line through a little hole maybe right there, or drill a bigger hole, a 2-inch hole, put a rubber grommet in there, or just scrap the idea altogether and mount them somewhere up in here. Minor details, I'll have to get that all sorted out later on. But for now, that is gonna be a wrap on the day. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you wanna pick up some flat out suspension for your build, I'll go ahead and link this kit down in the description box below. We're getting closer and closer every single day to the first start, to the first drive. I'll most likely do the first drive in its current state. Put some wheels on it. We don't need body panels. We don't need doors. We don't need quarters. I might need a seat and a steering column. That's about it.